Hello everybody, it's Karen from Vintage Style Journal Creations. Just thought I'd like to show you my latest vintage style journal creation called Violet Lady. She's actually a beautiful soft cover journal. I haven't made one of these types of journals before, so yeah, it's a little bit of a new thing for me, but I'm really thrilled with the way that she's turned out. As you can see, I've got this lovely tassel here, beautiful dangle here that I've created just to tie in with some of the colours in the journal, and I've got some other beautiful vintage jewellery bits attached to that as well. I hope you can see that. I'm not going to pick this journal up too much because I tend to go out of shot when I do that, so bear with me and we'll give you a little wander through. This lovely piece of lace that you see on the front here is hand dyed, and I just thought it just looks so beautiful with the hand dyed seam binding, and yeah, I'm just really happy with the way that turned out. I've put another beautiful lady. These ladies are all the way through my journals. I try to put them in just about every vintage journal that I do because I think they're just gorgeous, and I've attached this one to a lovely piece of material that's been tea stained, and inside this pocket here there's a hand painted piece of lavender, which is one of my little bags that I make. This has been coffee stained, this one, just stuck together there, and it's quite a sturdy little bag. What I normally do is I normally actually emboss these so that they've got just a little bit of extra doodah to them. So just pop her back in the pocket there. So let's just open it up. Actually, before I do, I'll just show you the front a little bit closer. I've got this gorgeous, beautiful trim there. I've put this in one or two journals before, my daughter-in-law's and my daughter's journal. I just absolutely love this piece of trim. I've only got such a small amount of it left, so I'm using it quite sparingly because I don't think there's any more to be found anywhere. So I've used this as a pocket here at the front, on top of another pocket, and gorgeous tea stained vintage flower that came off a bridal bouquet. Alright, now let's open her up. I have put a board with this particular journal because it is a little bit on the soft side, and this is a piano, just a piano board that I've covered and added a little bling to the bottom there, so you can actually put this between the pages and rest the page on it. It's very solid, so I hope that helps with this journal being as soft and lovely as it is. Okay, so you can see I've actually put a closure here out of seam binding. We'll just open that up. I've attached the closure to the back of the journal, and this lace goes all the way around the back of the journal to the front and closes. I wanted to use this page of the journal because I just loved it so much. I didn't want to cover it over with a cover, and in my initial video a few days back, I was still deciding what to do, how to actually put the signatures together. So I did decide on sewing them directly into this piece of lace that I've hacked off a lovely vintage tablecloth, as one is like to do. This tassel here, actually, before I go any further, this actually comes off the bookmarks on the other side of the tassel that go down through each of the signatures, and I've added a little bit of bling to the bottom of each of the tassels, each of the bookmarks, sorry, just to give them a little bit of weight so that they hang nicely. Okay, so the front page, as you can see, there's some gorgeous fabric and lace pieces. Going out of shot here. Okay, let's open it up. The first page is actually an envelope, a pocket rather. I didn't sew this up because I thought, well, you know, we want to add some bits and pieces of ephemera, so I just thought I'd leave that as a pocket, and I've actually done another little mini journal just to pop inside there. It's a little bit of writing paper that's been, I think this one's tea stained, but I think the cover's coffee stained. And on the edge I've just added some lovely sari silk that ties in with the rest of the journal. Go back in there. Each of the signatures contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 pieces, so 20 pieces of writing paper that have been lovely, beautifully tea stained. This one here, I've printed this on my laser printer. I usually print them up after I tea stain them. Actually, before I tea stain them, I print them up, and so sometimes they can have a stamped look. But because it's a laser printer, it actually doesn't run like the other printers do. Made another pocket here, had a beautiful hand-dyed lace, and again some sari silk on the top there just to enhance this lovely gorgeous woman here. Another tag. A lot of the ephemera in here will be mostly tags and a couple of envelopes. I don't like to overdo the ephemera, although others would say that I probably have, but everything I create I usually make myself. Apart from the women that I print up, I tend to just try to make up my own tags and my own style. And here you can see my hand-painted silk trim there that I've placed there. Initially it was without the sari silk on the edge of it, but I felt it just really needed some extra pizzazz to tie it into the rest of the journal. Left on its own, it just looked because of the extra colour in the journal, it just looked a little bit out of place, so I've tied it in using the same sari silk that I've used throughout. Again, this is a lovely tag that I've made. I'm thinking I might put up a tutorial at some point in the future regarding this one. This is a coffee stained tag, writing room on the back, but I've used texture paste on the front and added a little bit of seam binding trim to the top with a bit of bling. The texture paste has been picked up by some paint. I've just used some watercolour paint to go in just so that it highlights it, but I just thought that was a little bit interesting and different. Very easy to do. Love to show you sometime. Again, just another couple of pages here. Another lovely pocket. Here, just a lace pocket placed on the back of a coffee stained journal card. And the rest here is just a little snippet of beautiful hand-dyed laces with some what looks like rubies, but they're not really. They're just vintage stones from a lovely piece of vintage jewellery that I've utilised for my journals. Okay, just go back in there. There's another pocket on the in here too, but I didn't place anything in there at the moment. Okay, this one here is just a piece that I made on my cutting machine, and it opens up on one side for journaling, and on the back it's heavily coffee stained. I've left it plain. I just thought it was just so beautiful. You could wrap some seam binding or something around it and use it as pockets. Just put little bits and pieces in there, and this piece just goes in this lace trimmed pocket here. Isn't this a gorgeous colour? I don't know how you, like a dusty mauve, I suppose. On this side we've actually got a piece of extra journaling paper that I've folded. I've placed a little diamante there just so that it can be pulled out and just used as like this. So it's quite a bit of paper there, and just goes back in. I'll get you back in there. Stop sneaking out. And I've put a stamp here where I've watercoloured and just placed a little diamante as a closure here for this particular piece of paper. I'll just try and close it while I'm on shot here. I'll probably just leave it because I need to do it with two hands. Okay, moving on. Got some more paper for journaling. Another piece of the trim. This is just the opposite side of the other page, where it's doubled and sewn into the signature. This is a lovely bookmark that I make. I wanted to make it a little bit violety looking, but I thought no, I think I would ruin it if I tried to add anything extra to this one. It's already the seam binding and the bling at the top. But this is the love is patient, love is kind from 1 Corinthians 13 in the Bible. Lovely bookmark there that you can write on. And just a piece of embossed card here. I think it's just to add interest more than anything, but there are spots on there that can be journaled. This is the opposite side of an envelope that I've used. I've used an embossing mat just to emboss some of the side of it, and there's a little bit of silk ribbon just to trim that off and pretty it up a little. And here's the other side of the envelope. I've gone a little bit overboard here, but I just love the way that it turned out. That's the front there. They're just some, I don't know what you call this stuff, cheesecloth, I suppose. It's been tea dyed, a little bit of lace snippet, and again, one of those lovely bits of doily that I've hand dyed, and a stamp on there. This one opens up. I've gone the extra mile and put extra fancy type of lace on the back of that. My daughter was horrified, I think, when she saw it. It's just a little bit too lacy for her liking. And inside I've just put a heavily stained coffee dyed journaling card, and added it and another little bit of bling here to the bottom. I love this. I found a necklace with quite a few pieces of this little diamante here, and I've used it throughout this journal. You can see another little piece there, but I think it's just so exquisite, and it just really adds to the effect of what I'm looking to try and achieve, really, just to not be too over the top but be generous with some of the beautiful pieces of jewellery I put in my journals. Again, this one can either fold in here or fold. I liked to fold it over there because I've got the soft cover here that sort of lets it sit a little bit better. This here is just a sewn in coffee stained pieces of paper that for writing. It's sewn into the back cover of the first signature, and again in this pocket we've got another coffee stained and hand painted lavender pocket. Okay, let's move on to the, isn't this gorgeous? It really turned out beautifully. I love the blues and the mauves in this one, the way that the dye actually ran and looked at the outcome. I'm really very happy with the outcome of these hand dyed bits. Right, and this is this stunning little girl. I've put some vellum, I've sewn some vellum over top of her and made a pocket out of her. I just couldn't leave her out of this journal. She just seemed to fit perfectly on that page. And in this pocket here, made a little another little mini journal. This one's a little dangle, little tassel on the bottom of it, and it's just a decorative piece more than anything, but you could write some notes on there. So it's coffee stained, and these are coffee stained, this is tea stained, and just another little journaling tag in there. So put her back. Again, I've made another tag to go in here. I've made a few of these for this particular journal, but they're very writable. You can write on the back of them. And I just love the way that turned out with the texture paste. You can see the design even on the back where I've not touched the back. It just seemed to go through. So yeah, just really like that. This one here is, get that, how dare you get on my page. Okay, another piece of my hand painted rose trim. This one's a wider piece and lace edged. It's painted onto calico, and I love this piece, so I couldn't leave it out of this journal. So whoever gets this journal, I think, is going to get some lovely little bits of art throughout. Gorgeous vintage piece of lace here with another little piece of that beautiful bling. On the back here we've got a little dolly girl that I worked this in my Paint Shop Pro program and put a background behind her, took out the original and put a different one in, and I've put a little lace crown on her. I thought that was really quite sweet, and again some tea stained pieces of trim. She opens out so you can actually journal on there, and again this is just more journal paper that has been sewn into there. This is another little mini journal that I've made. I've given a few of these away in my giveys. I like to give things away. I quite enjoy giving. So, and again, another little hand-painted tab, one of my little rose tabs goes on there. Just stuck together, really sewn together somewhat, and washi tape glued down just so that it will be there for a lot longer and won't come up. And again, you can see a little bit of bling on the front with a crochet doily, or half of a crochet doily, and that goes inside this lace. This lace came from the stockings that I purchased a few years back, and much to my horror, they didn't go up past my calf. I think whoever made these stockings made them for tiny little girls, and I mean not women, little girls, because I don't think they'd fit anyone's leg. But I've used quite a bit of this lovely lace in my journals and on the tags and other things, bits and pieces that I make. Waste not, what not. I was quite disappointed that they cost so much and didn't go anywhere near me. Again, another piece of paper and a beautiful lady tag in there. I'll leave that out for a minute. I've put a couple of cards of seam binding in these two pockets. You can see the colours on both of those. And there's a couple of meters, at least 2 or 3 meters on each of those cards. They just go in this little pocket edge here. You can go back in under your lace doily. Right, just a little bit of stenciling there. Just think it needed something on that blank page. I'm getting to the point where I think I'm actually over the top with having to decorate every page, and I think I need to get back to just keeping it a little bit more simple so that there's quite a few more journaling pages available. This is another little journal that I've put in here. I've just pop this one inside the lace here. She's the lady that I use for my journal page. I love this design. I just feel like I'm her, and I know I'm not. Wishful thinking. And just pop some sari silk at the edge of this one as well, on both sides. And in the middle, we've got some journaling paper that's been tea stained, but a coffee stained. Don't you love that? The way that it's run there. So gorgeous. And I just put that inside that little bit of lace trim there. Oops, nearly lost my camera. And then on the inside, she's trimmed there with some more seam binding and old lace. Just on the inside, a little bit of paper extra that can either pull out both ways, that way or that way. Again, another gorgeous pocket with this beautiful, beautiful lace. I love this. I've got quite a lot of this, so I'm going to be using this in a few journals to come, I think. So I've made a pocket out of it, and I've placed some hand-painted card. I did quite a bit of this card for my daughter. She's with Paper Pretty Happy Mail, and she sends out a gorgeous box every month to people, and she's often got a bit of a different theme for each month, so look her up. She's on Facebook. It's Paper Pretty Happy Mail, and so I painted up quite a lot of these over time to just give the girls that she sends the mail to just something extra to add to their pages. Yeah, this one was a mauve-ish kind of colours, so I put it in this journal. And again, you see one of my pockets. This is a little bit bigger, and you can see the embossing on that one. I think you can see it there. I think that just looks really lovely. It's an extra special little piece in there. Got to utilise all the skills, girls. Not just journaling, I paint too, so I try to put a bit of my painting throughout. Again, another little snippet of that beautiful vintage lace. You can see the other side of that lace. Ooh, look at that. It's quite a nice size one. Made a pocket out of that. Again, just put a couple of very heavily stained, coffee stained cards in there. I love getting these. You can get these from places like Officeworks and Spotlight and just get them in a pack of 100 or so. They're very cheap and they don't run when you tea or coffee stain them. The lines on them don't run. So I think they're just great, and you can, you know, make them fancy or leave them plain. I like to leave them plain because I think the rest of it's fancy enough. And on the back of that, you can see the shimmer on that. I use some shimmer paints as well as some texture paste that I very lightly brushed over just to highlight and bring out the design of the stencil there. And that's just an open out envelope that I've put some more journaling cards into that one, just to make some extra journaling room. This one here is a little envelope that I've doubled over the middle and just open that top up there, and you can put something in there, which I have. I put really deeply coffee stained little pieces of note card there in pockets, and it opens up in the center. And I've done a couple more journaling cards. These are gorgeous cards with that embossing on them. I typically use the same embossing design because it's very me, and I think, you know, I just want to continue to be unique in the things that I do. And I know we all make tags, we all make pockets, but I just like to keep it very personal and make it something that I would love. So if I'm giving or selling anything, I always try to think of things that I would love as well as what the other person might love. I wouldn't give anything that I didn't like. And this is just that show off that little bit of bling on each of the bookmarks. Again, just a little bit of sari silk on the top of that tag, very similar to this one, only different lace. And again, this pocket opens up. I've put a little girl in there. And I've also put some more of that journaling card there. Again, another beautiful, look at that. Isn't that absolutely exquisite? I love the colours in that. Just turned out perfectly for me. Perfect for this journal. A lot of the pockets that I put in, I usually make either the side or the top. There's another pocket behind there. Just some secret sort of pockets that you can use. Another little piece of the hand-dyed lace. Again, this is one of those journaling bits that I've just put a little bit of a lace pocket or lace belt around, just so that you can see it can be used for pockets where you can stash stuff, or you can just pull it off and open it out as another place to journal. That goes in there. Okay, this is the second back cover of the second signature. I love this pocket here. I love this material, and yeah, I think it's gorgeous. It was a silk scarf that was given to me that I found that I just wasn't wearing, so I thought, well, I'm just going to have to use it because I hate to leave things unused. So I've utilised it for some of my journals, and there's another little pocket there and behind this gorgeous lady. This is a piece of vintage ribbon that I found at an op shop. I probably got a couple of meters of it, so I don't have very much of it, but I love the way that it turns out with the sepia type of back photo. Again, I've made another little journal to go inside here. This one's a little bit different, as you can see, because I've put a closure on it, and that just comes off there. Opens out like that. How funky is that? This is just an envelope that I used. I painted the envelope, and I've added just this colour lace to the yellow part of the yellow envelope, and this is my closure. And this lace is this gorgeous other lace that I showed you earlier from down here, and I've popped that on the front and the back. I put some music paper, some vintage music paper that I found in the local Salvation Army salvos, and I put that on the back of the envelope. This is the paint that I used. That's I just can't think of the shade at the moment, but I only ever use Jo Sonja brands. They're made in Australia, even though it is an American company. They're made in Australia and they are archival. They will never fade. So whatever you paint with Jo Sonja paints will last for as long as, you know, as long as we're here. So this is, you can see the yellow envelope there that I've used. So you've got room to stash stuff in here. You've got a little pocket there with another gorgeous, look at that, that's amazing, little trimmed tag there. The music paper comes up there and makes the pocket. I've put just a lace doily in there, and there's quite a few pages that you can journal. Another lovely little lace tag in the back there. I just love the way that turned out, and I love the closure on it. I thought, what can I do to make it different? So obviously just pull that around and pull that towards the front, and she closes up. So I might just leave that one to close later on, but yeah, that's just another little journal that goes inside this pocket. Yeah, so there's a few journals in here, which I'm quite happy about, and I like the journals. Again, this lovely piece of material that I cut up from a gorgeous vintage old tablecloth set. This was one of the serviettes, so they're really huge. So I thought, I'm going to use those. They're just gorgeous, just so different, and I think it fitted well because it's not all violet inside here because of the roses. I think it really picks it up nicely. Again, another little journal tag that you can place in your journal, or you can use it on a bigger tag or use it as a page pocket. I've sewn this one down, but yeah, so there's lots of uses for these women tags. Another one here. They're just reasonably soft. The photographs are printed on card, but they're just a nice piece that you can actually add to other things. And the back of that is just another piece of that embossed card. Getting close to the end here. Another little tag that I made up, just little funky bits. Go back in. Right, excuse my arm leaning across all that way. Okay, here we go, another journal. This one, I love this little photograph. I think that's so gorgeous. I've used her on a couple of things. I just trimmed her over a little bit. Thoughtful notes. On the inside I've just put an extra little bit of that lace that I had, sort of made it go over the edge and made a beautiful little tag to go with that. So yeah, just really coffee stained paper, this one. And she goes back in the pocket, which is here. And again, another well, actually it's not embossed, it's actually texture paste on there again, and a little bit of mauvey hued pink trim that I dyed. And this gorgeous thing, I got this off Facebook last week. I can't think of the name, Junk Journals or yeah, somebody gave a freebie, so I've made her up into a lovely journal, large journal card with some stamping and some lace and some bling. Just on the back is just a coffee stained plain section. If I can think of the person, I will put up her name on the link to this. Just some more paper. These are my little angel wings that I create. I just thought I've got to put angel wings somewhere in my journal, so these ones are a nice firm little hanging thing. You hang it on your Christmas tree if you like. I've put a little hanger there just in case. On the back I've embossed it using embossing powder. I love the way that this jewel picks up on the green in the in the hand painted trim here. So she goes there. And this is a pocket that I purchased. I didn't make this one myself. Well, the original I didn't make. I've actually decorated it. And I've put some embossing, some texture paste on the front, and I've actually just put some seam binding around as the closure. It had a little black thread, and it just doesn't work for me, I'm afraid. So I've had to make it more violet and vintage looking. And so, yeah, and this is hand painted on the top. I've left it free from having anything in it, stuck purely down to the page. And that's for you or whoever purchases this journal to put some things in there. I couldn't make this journal any thicker. It would just not work. So yeah, that's just one of those pockets. So I bought the pocket and then decorated it. Again, another piece of my hand painted pocket. Again, with some lace, lovely lace trim on the bottom of this, a bit of bling. Again, another pocket on the opposite side. Some more there. It's quite a little bit slow towards the end, but I think it's got enough in it. And more paper to finish. Again, the other side of that hand painted trim. Put a little bit of a dangle there. That's a Swarovski crystal, I think. Yeah. More paper. Oops. There we go. There's the back cover. As I said, it's a little bit on the soft side. Just another journal tag in there on its own. And a little pocket on the back of that one. So that's my journal, and I do have it up for sale, so go and check it out if you're interested. I will, when I put this video on, I will put a link with it, so you just scroll down a little bit and look for that if you're interested. So yeah, I hope you like my crazy kind of soft cover journal. I say crazy because I've not made one before. Mine are usually hardcover journals, so yeah, just if you feel like it's been useful and helpful, there's some little bits and pieces that would be interesting for you in there. Don't forget to put a thumbs up for me and subscribe if you haven't already, if you feel like that's something you'd like to do. And thank you for watching.